Hello everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to be working on Unit 4, Lesson 9, how much is in each group. Now it's kind of a continuation of what we've been learning, but this time we're going to be focusing in on groups that are less than 1. So let's take a look at these three groups right here. Obviously it's not less than 1 because we have 1, 2, 3 groups. Now let's call each of these a box of candy. So we have 3 boxes of candy. Now because we're focusing in on groups less than 1, we're going to go ahead and zoom in just to one group. And in this particular situation, this box is divided into thirds, okay? And in 2 of the thirds, the box contains exactly 6 pieces of candy. Okay, so 2/3 of the box contains exactly 6 pieces of candy. 2/3. So this last third doesn't contain the 6, just 2/3 of it does. But what we want to do is we want to find out how much will be in the entire box. How much will be in the entire box. Okay, well, let's focus in here. So if 2/3 contain 6, that means each of those thirds will contain 3. Because, why is that? Well, 3 plus 3 equals 6, right? So 6 divided by 2 equals 3, okay? So if 2/3 equals 6, that means the final third should also have 6, or 3. Okay, because if you divide something equally, there must be an equal amount in each. So if 2/3 contain 6, that means all 3 together, 1, 2, 3, will equal, what is it? Grand roll, please, 9. Okay, excellent. So we know that the entire box contains 9 pieces altogether. Okay, so how would we write this out as a division equation? Remember, division, we go from the top to the bottom, okay? And that means that 6 divided by 2/3, because that's what we started off with, equals 9. Or, going the other way around for multiplication, inverse, 9 times 2/3 equals 6. Okay, so hopefully you have an idea how to get started. Now we're going to do some word problems down here. Okay, so right here we already have our entire diagram drawn out for us, just so we can get a quick, simple start on this next problem. So to make 3/5 batches of brownies, so that's exactly 3/5, okay? 27 cups of flour are needed. 27 cups of flour. How many cups of flour would be needed to make one whole batch? Okay, so as you can see, this problem is already divided into fifths, and we're going to be focusing in on 3/5 right here. 3/5. So let's go ahead and highlight out the remaining ones, and we have 3/5 open. Okay, so 3/5 will be divided amongst 27 cups. As you can see highlighted here, 27 cups, okay? 27 cups. So so now the final part is how many cups of flour are needed to make one whole batch. So how many will be needed to make one full or one entire batch? That's our question right here that we need to answer. Okay, so 27 divided by 3 groups. Well, if 27 divided by 3, we know, or we should know, that that equals 9. 9, 18, 27. Okay, so if 27 divided by 3 groups equals 9, how many will be in the entire box? Well, let's see here. Remember, all the groups must be the same, so let's just continue writing our 9s. 9, 9, and that means that the entire group will contain 9, 18, 27, 36, 45 altogether. 45 cups. 45 cups. Okay? Okay, excellent. So now we need to make our division equation, and we remember that division goes from the top to the bottom. Okay, so that means 27 divided by 3/5, because as you can see, it's 3 out of 5, right? Equals 45. And multiplication, we go inverse, and that means we have 45 times 3/5 equals 27. Okay, so hopefully that diagram makes pretty good sense to you. We're going to do another one. This time we have 4/5 of a gallon fills 5/8 of a bucket. Okay, how much water is needed to fill one entire bucket? Okay, so we know that we have 5/5 or 5/8 of a bucket. So let's just go ahead and make that. We're going to divide this into eighths. So first let's divide it into halves. Then let's divide it into fourths. And finally, let's divide each of those fourths into eighths. Okay, so now we have our full thing and it's divided into eighths. Okay, now our bucket is only filled 5/8 of the way. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5/8 of the way. Okay, the remaining 3/8 are empty. And let's see how much goes into each of those 5/8. So 5/4 of a gallon fills 5/8. So let's go ahead and put our 5/4. And we need to divide that equally amongst our 5/8. Now the last part is how much is needed to fill the entire bucket. So how much will be needed to fill the entire bucket? Well, let's go ahead and zoom in here. 5/4 goes equally into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups. So how can we do that? Well, I notice we have 5/4 and we need to divide that into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups. That means that each group will be getting 1/4, right? 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, 1/4. Okay, excellent. And why is that? Well, because 5/4 divided equally into 5 groups means 1/4 is in each one. But now, how much will be in the entire bucket? The entire bucket. How much water do we need? Well, let's go ahead and continue, because remember, every group must have the same amount. So if they're all 1/4, naturally that means we just keep adding 1/4 here. 1/4, 1/4, 1/4. Okay, so now we need to count how many will be in the entire bucket. 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4, 5/4, 6/4, 7/4, 8/4 all together. 8/4 all together. Okay, so that equals 8/4, or we can simplify that into 2 because we know 4 goes into 8 2 times. Excellent. Okay, perfect. So let's go ahead and make our division equation top to bottom. That means that 5/4 divided by 5/8 equals 2, or 5/4 divided by 5/8 equals 2. And then we know that multiplication goes the other way, goes the other way. That means 2 times 5/8 equals 5/4. Okay? Excellent work. Hopefully you are feeling a little bit better about this equation, this type of math. We're going to do just one more so that you feel totally secure in what you're doing, okay? So right now we have 2/6 of a pound of baking soda costs $2. How much does 1 whole pound cost? Okay, so 2/6 is the amount that we need to figure out. Okay, so let's go ahead and make our diagram. So here's our whole pound, and we're just going to make it extra big just so we have some extra space. So here's our whole pound, right? Okay, And we need to divide it into what? 6 sixths. Okay, so let's go ahead and try to do that. So first, I'll go ahead and try my best to visually divide it into thirds. Okay, and now into sixths. And let's just count to make sure we're on the money. 1 6, 2 6, 3 6, 4 6, 5 6, 6 6. Okay, so we have all 6. Okay, now let's see here. We are dividing it into 2 sixths, groups of 2 sixths. Okay, so here's 1 6, 2 6, and then the rest will just be shaded out. So now it looks like we have 2 sixths altogether. Okay, so 2 sixths of a pound of baking soda costs exactly what? $2. $2. So let's go ahead and put our $2 here. $2. All right. And how do we divide $2 equally into 2 sixths? Well, we notice that 2, if I give 1 to each group, that'll divide it equally. So now we just have $1 in each group. We can even make our little dollar signs. Pretty cool. Now we need to finish the question. And the question wants to know, how much does 1 whole pound cost? How much will the entire pound cost? Well, remember, each group must be equal. Each group must be equal. So if I have $1 in each group so far, that means I'm going to have to put $1 more in each of the remaining groups. $1 more in each of the remaining groups. Okay, so now let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, $6 altogether. So the final cost will be $6 altogether. Okay, so excellent. Our division equation, remember we must go from the top to the bottom. So 2 divided by 2 sixths equals 6, right? So 2 divided by 2 sixths equals 6. Or multiplication, we go the other way. And that means 6 times 2 sixths equals 2. Okay, so hopefully you're feeling a little bit better about working with groups less than 1. So important that you make these fractions before you start solving. That way you're able to visually figure out what's happening. Thank you for tuning in, and please give me a call or send me a message if you have any questions about this assignment of groups less than 1.